Welcome to Sounds Heavenly. You join me here at Bang Olufsen of Nottingham, and I'm sure the observant amongst you will have already spotted that behind me is Bang Olufsen's very latest soundbar, Beosound Theatre. In this video I want to tell you the 3 important things you need to know before you come and hear Beosound Theatre for yourself. Now first of all, you need to get obviously to a Bang Olufsen dealer who has this in stock available and where the team in store have the knowledge and experience to show this to you at its best. Personally, I've spent the last few days travelling around the UK listening to the theatre, and so I've got 3 suggestions for you to start your search. One is here at B&O Nottingham, and also B&O Selfridges and Manchester are 2 other stores where I've seen the setups and been really impressed with the knowledge and skill of the team in store. So any of those 3 stores are a really good starting point so that you can get the best experience. The next thing I'm going to suggest is that you start by listening to the theatre playing on its own. Now this is an extremely capable sound system, and it can actually manage external B&O speakers in a way that makes them perform better than they did when they originally left the factory. And it does that by the fact of Bang & Olufsen coding their acoustic performance into the electronics of the soundbar so that the theatre can counteract any errors or inefficiencies in their design. But leaving that aside, the first thing you need to hear really is how the theatre performs when it is doing its basic job as being a multi-channel point source for sound. And I suggest that you listen to music and movie clips that you know well so that you can experience just how this compares to the speakers you're used to. The next thing I'm going to suggest is that you get the sound settings to a good starting point. Obviously this comes with a disclaimer. Every listening room is different and every individual's ears are different. So this is not a one-size-fits-all or guaranteed starting point to get the best sound. However, having travelled around, listened in different environments and different stores, I'm going to give you my suggested starting point so that for typical listeners in a typical room, you can get a good feel for how this speaker sounds. Now first of all, if you have Beolab 28s already and you've spent a bit of time setting them up at their best, the good news is the theatre has a very similar sonic signature. It behaves in a very similar way. So my suggestion would be ask the store manager for the access to the B&O app on a phone or iPad, and then go into the sound settings and set the theatre to the exact same settings you would use at home for your Beolab 28s. But my suggestion is that you would turn up the bass by 1 notch compared to the 28s, as I feel naturally the theatre has just very slightly less bass output compared to the rest of the music against a pair of Beolab 28s. So same settings but just 1 notch extra of bass. However, if you're starting from a clean sheet, you don't already have Beolab 28s, but you want to get a good starting point for getting the sound from the theatre at its best, here's my suggestion. Personally, I would turn off the loudness, and then there are 2 options. If you generally prefer action movies and you like your music to be quite forward and get the detail out of it, I would suggest you set the bass at 0 and the treble at +1 in the equaliser. And that should bring out just a little bit more depth to the explosions and the drama in a movie, and it should also bring out some of the detail in your music, the cymbals and the transients, plucking of guitar strings and that sort of thing. However, if you generally like historical dramas, documentaries, classical music, the sort of sounds where the spoken word is important, or the tonality of instruments, that's where I'd suggest setting, again, keep the loudness off as a starting point, set the bass to -1 in the equaliser and the treble to 0. And I find that's another good starting point to bring out the clarity of speech and of instruments. I'll reiterate that disclaimer, everyone's ears are different. You may like additional bass, and also particularly if you listen at very low volumes, adding the loudness can be a really good tool to help bring the drama and effect back into movies at very quiet listening levels. But if you feel that the bass is starting to overpower the overall experience, switching off the loudness control in the app is a good way to get around that and get a nice even sound. To summarise, I think Beosound Theatre is the most exciting product to come from Bang & Olufsen in recent years. You'll see a lot of information about it on my channel at the moment. So for example, if you want to know what's the largest TV screen you can connect to it, if you want to know how to use a USB adapter to connect a record player or audio system into the theatre, or if you'd like any more information technically about what this soundbar is and what it can do, then please subscribe to the channel and check out the playlists that will appear on screen. I'd encourage you to come and visit one of the stores mentioned, and a particular thank you to Bang & Olufsen of Nottingham for allowing us to view the theatre here. Thank you for watching.